What if everything you've been taught about building habits as a leader is wrong? Most leaders at some point try to force new habits through sheer willpower. We decide we're going to be a better decision maker, a better delegator, or a better strategic thinker. So we grit our teeth, cram new behaviours into the already packed schedule. And within a few weeks, we burn out and fall right back into old patterns. That ambitious goal becomes a distant memory. It's an exhausting cycle of failure that leaves us feeling stuck. But what if there was a blueprint to bypass willpower altogether? A system that rebuilds your identity from the ground up, making high-performance habits feel not just possible, but natural and automatic. In this video, we're not just talking about habits, we're revealing that blueprint. We're going to deconstruct the process that most effective leaders use to engineer lasting change. And it isn't about trying harder, it's about thinking differently. So if you're ready to stop forcing change and start embodying it, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Step one, the identity audit, the real starting point. The first step in this blueprint has almost nothing to do with the habit itself. It starts with your identity. The real reason most leaders fail to form new habits is that they try to change what they do before they change who they believe they are. It's like trying to install brand new software on an old, incompatible operating system. It's just destined to crash. Here's the problem. You set a goal based on an outcome. I want to be a leader who mentors their team more. It's a great goal, but it's focused on the result. So you start doing mentoring activities. You schedule one-on-ones. You try to ask better questions. But deep down, you still see yourself as a manager who's trying to mentor. And that creates a painful internal conflict. Every time you practice this new behavior, it feels unnatural, like you're playing a role. Your brain, which is wired for efficiency, of course, resists this. It feels like a lie, and the effort it takes to maintain it is huge. When your new behavior is fighting against the current of your identity, willpower is the only thing that keeps you afloat. And willpower is a finite resource. This is why so many new initiatives fizzle out. It's incredibly common for people to give up on new habits within just the first few weeks. The solution then is to flip the entire model. Before you decide what you want to do, you have to decide who you want to be. This is the core of what author James Clear calls identity-based habits. Instead of saying, I want to practice mentoring, you make a conscious decision. I am a mentoring leader. Sounds almost too simple, but this internal shift is the most critical part of the whole process. You're not pretending, you're defining the person you intend to become. Once you genuinely adopt this new identity, the question is no longer, how do I force myself to mentor? It becomes, what would a mentoring leader do right now? And then the behaviors start to flow from that identity. So your first action step is a quick identity audit. Ask yourself, to achieve my biggest goals, what kind of leader do I need to become? Write it down. Not a leader who does X thing, but I am a visionary, empowering, strategic word leader. Get crystal clear on that identity first, because every other step is built on this foundation. Step two, the micro-behaviour mandate. Shrink the change. Now that you've defined your own identity, the temptation is to make a massive sweeping change to prove it. If you've decided, I am a delegating leader, you might feel the urge to offload half your tasks by Friday. This is the second place leaders get tripped up. They go too big too fast. The problem is that our brains are fundamentally wired to conserve energy. A huge disruptive change triggers the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, and it creates a stress response. When a new habit feels too big, the internal friction is overwhelming. You miss one day, feel like a failure. And your brain eagerly snaps back to the comfortable energy-saving old habit, like micromanaging, because its neural pathway is already paved smooth. The solution is to make the new behavior so small that your brain barely registers it as a major effort. The goal is consistency over intensity. Some organizational psychologists have pioneered the idea of breaking down complex leadership skills into 5-minute micro-behaviours. This is the micro-behaviour mandate. You take the new identity and you shrink the habit down to an action that is almost laughably easy. So if your identity is, I am a leader who develops my people, your micro habit isn't run a weekly training session. It's ask one team member what skill they want to develop this week. That's it. Takes 60 seconds. If your identity is, I'm a strategic thinker, your micro habit isn't write a new 5-year plan. It's spend 3 minutes at the start of the day asking, what's the one thing that will deliver the most value today? The point of a micro behavior isn't to get immediate massive results. The point is to cast a vote for your new identity. Every time you perform that tiny action, you're offering yourself tangible proof that you are, in fact, that type of person. You're not trying to become a strategic thinker. You are being one for just 3 minutes. By making it easy, you remove the friction and make it possible to be consistent, which is the only way to start rewiring your brain. Step 3, the habit loop hijack. Engineer your environment. So you have your identity and a tiny micro behavior to practice. How do you make sure you actually do it? Most of us rely on memory or motivation. Both are notoriously unreliable, especially in the chaotic world of leadership. The problem is expecting a new habit to just happen in a vacuum. You think you'll just remember to do it, but then your day gets swallowed by urgent emails, back-to-back meetings, the surprise crises. Your good intention to ask a powerful mentoring question is buried by noon. You haven't failed because you're lazy. You failed because you didn't give your habit a trigger to exist in the real world. And the solution to that is consciously engineer what's known as the habit loop. And the loop has 3 parts: a cue, a routine, and a reward. So instead of waiting for inspiration, you hijack this loop and build a system around your new habit. First, the cue. This is the trigger that tells your brain it's time to act. The best cues are things you already do automatically. This technique is called habit stacking. You anchor your new micro behavior to an existing rock-solid habit. For example, your existing habit is, I join my daily team huddle at 9 a.m. The new micro behavior is publicly acknowledge one person's great work from yesterday. So you stack them. The cue becomes, immediately after I say good morning in the huddle, and the routine is your micro behavior. I will thank one team member for a specific contribution. And the data backs this up. Studies consistently show that the vast majority of employees feel more motivated when they receive personal recognition. Next, the routine. This is the micro behavior itself. We've already covered this. Keep it small, under 5 minutes. And finally, the reward. This is the crucial step that tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's do that again. And the reward has to be immediate to work. It solidifies the neural pathway by releasing a little hit of dopamine, that makes your brain want to repeat the loop. And the reward doesn't have to be some big tangible prize. It can be incredibly simple. After you perform your micro habit, you could take a satisfying sip of your morning coffee. Or you could just pause for 10 seconds and mentally acknowledge it. I just acted like the supportive leader I am. That internal feeling of progress is a powerful reward in itself. By explicitly linking a cue, a routine, and a reward, you're creating an automated system. You're no longer relying on willpower. You're letting your environment and your brain's own chemistry do the heavy lifting. If you're listening and you feel you need help with this, when you join the Leadership Performance Coaching Program, you will be guided through the full habit change process. This skill set optimizes your adaptability and growth potential well into the future, as well as deepening your results now on your current goal. If you find this blueprint valuable, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We release new videos every week designed to give leaders like you the practical, science-based tools that you need to excel. Step 4, the dopamine default. Reward the effort, not the outcome. The habit loop introduces the reward, but let's really zero in on it because this is where a lot of people get it wrong. Many leaders make the mistake of tying their sense of satisfaction to a long-term outcome. I'll feel good when my team is fully autonomous, or I'll be happy when we hit our quarterly target. The problem with this is that big results take time. Research has thoroughly debunked the old 21-day myth. One major study found it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. And for some people, and some habits, it can take as long as 254 days. Your brain isn't designed to wait that long for a reward. It operates on a much shorter feedback loop. Dopamine, the chemical of motivation, surges in anticipation of a reward. If that reward is too far off, the signal's weak, and your brain defaults to old habits that offer a more immediate payoff, like the feeling of control you get from micromanaging. The solution is to create an immediate reward for the effort, not the outcome. You need to get that dopamine hit right after you perform the micro-behaviour. And this reinforces the action itself, making your brain want to do it again, no matter the macro result. This is where progress tracking becomes a non-negotiable tool. Get a calendar or a journal. Every single time you perform your micro habit, whether it's asking a mentoring question, one small task, or taking 3 minutes for strategic silence, put a big satisfying X on that day. This simple act does two things. First, the visual evidence of your streak creates its own momentum. You won't want to break the chain. Second, the small act of checking the box is an immediate reward. It's tangible proof you kept a promise to yourself and a confirmation of your new identity. Each X is a vote for the person you are becoming. And this process shifts your focus from the distant outcome to the immediate action you can control, your consistency. When you reward the effort, you learn to fall in love with the process of just showing up. And when you love the process, the results become an inevitable byproduct. Step 5, the Keystone catalyst. Identify the one habit that changes everything. At this point, you might be buzzing with ideas, thinking of 10 different leader identities to adopt and 10 new habits to build. This is the final trap, trying to do too much at once. When you spread your focus too thin, give each new habit just a fraction of your attention, ensuring none of them get enough traction to stick. The problem is scattered energy. You try to be a better delegator, a better listener, and a better strategic planner, all at the same time. You might make a little bit of progress on each, but you never achieve mastery in any. Your cognitive resources get divided, and eventually the complexity becomes overwhelming, leading you right back to where you started. So the solution is to find your one keystone habit. A keystone habit is a single powerful behavior that, when you adopt it, creates a cascade of other positive changes without you even trying. It's the one domino that knocks over all the others. For many leaders, a powerful keystone habit is a daily reflection or planning ritual. For instance, committing to a 5-minute habit every morning to identify your single most important task for the day, the one thing that aligns with your strategic goals. Think about the ripple effect. A leader who does this consistently is forced to think strategically every single day. They naturally get better at prioritizing. They become more likely to delegate the less important tasks that get in the way. Their communication gets clearer because they have clarity themselves. One small habit has a multiplier effect across multiple leadership skills. Other keystone habits for leaders could be expressing daily gratitude, which can transform team morale, or prioritizing a full night's sleep, which dramatically enhances decision-making and emotional regulation. So your final task is this. Look at the leader identity you defined in step 1 and ask yourself, what is the one single behavior that would make all the other habits I want either easier or unnecessary? Don't try to build 10 habits. Find that one keystone. Focus all your energy on embedding that single habit for the next couple of months. Master it, make it automatic. Once that domino is firmly in place, then only can you move on to the next one. As always, for support in becoming the new you, join the Leadership Performance Coaching Program and be personally mentored in habit change and many other vital leadership skills. So there you have it, the leader's blueprint for habit formation. Let's quickly recap the 5 steps. Number 1, the identity audit. Start by deciding who you want to be, not just what you want to do. Number 2, the micro-behaviour mandate. Shrink your new habit into a laughably small 2-minute action. Number 3, the habit loop hijack. Engineer your environment with a clear cue, a simple routine, and an immediate reward. Number 4, the dopamine default. Reward the effort of showing up, not the distant outcome, and use a tracker to build momentum. And number 5, the keystone catalyst. Identify and focus on one habit that will create a positive ripple effect across your leadership. This is a shift from forcing change with willpower to architecting change through identity. It's how you stop simply doing leadership tasks and start truly becoming a leader. It's a system that makes high-performing habits feel effortless because they become a natural extension of who you are. And finally, I'd like to leave you with a question. Based on your goals for this year, what is the one identity you need to adopt as a leader to get to the next level? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. Thanks for watching.